Hello, folks. Welcome to Holding On with Holder, my brand new interview show where I discuss important topics with interesting people. My name is Steve Holder, and I will be your host. Today, excuse me, today I'm talking with Salman Sheikh. He is a Muslim author, video creator, Freemason, and public speaker. I'm happy and proud to call him my brother because I also am a Mason. And he has demonstrated the spirit of Freemasonry better than anyone I have ever met. He's a good man, and I'm happy to have you with me, Brother Sal. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Brother Steve. It's an honor and privilege for me to come here and be on this platform with you. And I can speak the same for you, my brother. The tenets of brotherly love and Freemasonry, I have also learned from you when I started reading your books and I started following you. And I knew that sometimes we are a mirror reflection of each other, and we're in this short life together, walking each other home. So I am also eternally grateful for you as well.
Well, thank you very, very much. To get us started off, can you just tell us a little bit about who is Salman Sheikh? And I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. Is it Sheikh?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Just tell us a little bit about who you are and what your background is, if you would, please.
Yeah, sure. So I come from a Pakistani American immigrant community. My father grew up in a poverty background, and he struggled hard to bring me and my mother to over to this country for a better life. And we came here at the age of 5 to Cleveland, Ohio. I did my kindergarten there, and then as time went on, we went to Delaware. I was there for a little bit, and then from my first grade up until now, I've been in here in the Delaware County area, here in the Pennsylvania jurisdiction. And growing up, Brother Steve, I always saw humanity as one. I used to go to Bible classes the same day, Quran classes the same day. I did not see anybody as different as being white, Muslim, black. I knew we were all one. We came from the same creator. And those are the tenets that I loved about this country, that all men are created equal. And as time went on, I worked hard, finished school, got my degree, ran a business for a while, and just handled life's responsibility. And then eventually life took me to Freemasonry. And I realized that the foundations of what this country stood for, and this aspect of fighting for what's right, fighting for the weak and defenseless, I found everything in the Brotherhood. And that's where I dedicated most of my life to now, to writing, speaking, and trying to bring people together to teach them that it's not about being Muslim, Christian, Jewish, white, black, Hispanic, whatever. We're here in this short life. We're here to love one another, uplift one another, to do God's work. And the ultimate goal, my brother, for the Mason and for the human being, is to just touch each other's heart. If there's something I can do for anybody, I know if I have the power to do it, I will do it. Everything else, my degree, my titles, my home, my bank account, everything else I will leave here. And that's just how I've been living my life, day-to-day basis, to make sure I do right by all those who come before me.
That sounds good to me. Tell me exactly what does it mean to be a Muslim? You're a Sufi Muslim, am I saying that correctly, Sufi?
Yes, that's correct.
And what exactly does that mean?
So being a Muslim, Brother Steve, is basically submitting yourself to God. And anyone that submits himself to God is by definition a Muslim. And we have that a concept in the Holy Quran as well, where we believe in all of the prophets, we believe in all of the holy books that came before us, and how it says that in Surah 2, verse 62, that it does not matter if you're a Jewish, Christian, or Muslim, as long as you do right by yourself, do right by your Lord. On the day of judgment, you shall have no grief for you or your family. So being a Muslim is basically meaning to submitting yourself to a higher power, to know that there is a guiding force above me that's guiding me and shaping the destiny of my life. How we have in Masonry as well that one must believe in a supreme being, and that could be anything, to know that there is a higher power guiding you, and we're here not alone.
Yeah. Now you are a Mason and I'm a Mason, so you and I know about Masonry, but a lot of other people don't. Can you just share so anybody can understand what exactly is a Mason? What is a Freemason?
A Freemason is one who stands up for the weak, for the defenseless, for the widows. He honors charity, justice, brotherhood, anything that he could do good for anybody, he will do. And it's basically about doing the right thing, being a man of integrity, being a man of your word, being a man of God. And anything that's opposite of that is not a Mason. Mason is one who brings unity between mankind. He does not care what your race or religion is. He doesn't care if you're an orphan or a widow. If he has something in his heart to do to help you with his capability to do so, he will do it without asking anything in return. And when he sees evil, he will fight against it. When he sees the weak, he will protect them. When he sees somebody that he can love, he will love them. So the Mason is basically a man of God.
Thank you. A good description. And what would you tell people? How is Freemasonry different from other fraternities?
The beauty about Freemasonry, Brother Steve, is that Freemasonry basically exemplifies how Almighty God wants us to be as one human family. And I realize is that when you go into a Masonic lodge, where else in the world can you see this? Where a Jewish man, a Muslim man, Christian man, a white man, black man, we can all hug each other, love each other, and call each other brothers. The world can follow our example that if we can do it, why can't you? And we're just that example that this fraternity that has existed for thousands of years and how it has shaped like the politics and the world history in many ways. It's all about relief, justice, and brotherly love. In the U.S., we see that exemplified, where brother Masons on opposite sides of the American Civil War, they spared each other's lives. Same in World War II, World War I. They were hostile countries, but when they came together, they loved each other as brothers. Same thing, even going back all the way to the Crusades. Richard the Lionheart and Saladin were brothers, and anytime both were in some kind of danger, they helped each other. So this concept of brotherhood that transcends all religious, political, racial boundaries has existed on this earth as long as man has walked this earth. That's how beautiful this ancient and honorable fraternity is.
Well said. Well said. Can you explain the different kinds of Masons and how each branch differs from one another? Like, we have the Scottish Rite and the York Rite and, things of that. Can you explain to people exactly what those differences are and what they mean?
Yes, exactly. So what you know as ancient craft masonry, because I've experienced it in other countries as well. And the highest degree is one of a master mason, which is the third degree. There's no degree higher than a master mason. Now you have these appendant bodies, such as the York Rite, Shriners, Scottish Rite. That does not mean that you're higher than any master mason. Those are just appendant bodies, meaning that they're extra credit studies. I mean, the course ends at Master Mason, but those are extra credit studies for those that want to become more adept initiates of the path. So there's more to learn, there's more to apply, but it just reminds you of the foundation of the Master Mason. So everything comes back to you being a Master Mason, whether it's Scottish Rite, York Rite, Royal Arch, anything. So basically, most people have this misconception of Freemasonry, and they tell you that you're not high enough up in the organization for you to know everything, but that's incorrect. There's nothing higher than a Master Mason, and whether it's a Grand Master, a Past Master, or a regular Master Mason, when they meet together, they're all Master Masons meeting on the level, and nobody's above one another, nobody's beneath one another. We all love and respect each other equally, and I believe that humanity should be able to learn from us in these divisive times, that we're all one human family, and don't let the agents of chaos that also exist in all races, religions, and groups divide you from each other, because they realize your strength when we come together.
You explained that very well, brother. I appreciate that. Now, what, in your opinion, is the biggest myth about Freemasonry? Some people think we're just horrible people.
Yeah, so unfortunately, many have the misconception that Freemasonry, that they are devil worshippers, but that's incorrect. You cannot be a Freemason unless you're a man of God, unless you promise to fight evil and uphold the values of justice and to defend mankind at all venues. And if you look at all of your cartoons, your video games, your movies, all of the aspect of good winning over evil, those are all Masonic stories and Masonic ideals. Whether you see that in Disney movies, Disney video games, in the books, everything about good winning over evil and how good is always destined to win. Those are all Masonic ideals. And Freemasonry, even my country, Pakistan, a Muslim country, was a Masonic experiment, just like how America was a Masonic experiment back in the 1700s. And it was about creating a society, a secular society, where all walks of life are welcome and live together, love each other. And I can go outside in my neighborhood. There's white, black, Asian, Hispanic. Everyone's living together peacefully. Their kids go to school together. They work together. We're living in this neighborhood together as an exemplification of what the Masonic Society is, which is a global community. And there's no issue. And we must be able to go outside and see reality through our own eyes, Brother Steve, rather than turning the television on and letting them tell us who to fear and who to hate and who to look out for, because they are the agents of chaos. They don't want us to come together. We must be able to go out and see reality through our own eyes and see the beauty of Americana. And that's the exemplification of Freemasonry. We see not just in this country, we can go to all societies where Freemasons have played a role. Here, England, Pakistan, everywhere. It's a global fraternity. Anywhere you go, there will be a brother there to help you and guide you when you need help the most.
And that's good to know. That's good to know. So what exactly convinced you to become a Freemason, Brother Sal? What was the determining factor that made you say, I want to be a Mason?
Yes, so in our Sufi Islamic stories, we have the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, and he tells us to become one community. So he describes the term as ummah. So ummah means become one community. And I was looking at Freemasonry, and I'm thinking what he said, it's all here, where we all come together, no matter what your race or religion is, as men of God, as brothers, as, one brotherhood. So that's what determined me to pursue Freemasonry, because I knew that this is a venue that I can use to bring humanity together. Its tenets, its platforms, and to be in a society where people don't look at what zip code you live in, your socioeconomic status, race, religion. I could sit next to a Jewish man, Christian man, white man, and we're all brothers. And that's the greatest gift that God can give anybody, is to have that equality and love for each other. And that's only, my brother, those that are Masons, they can only experience it. That's something that cannot be explained to anybody. They have to be able to experience that love and brotherhood. And that's what saw me come to this fraternity, is the aspect of coming together and unity. And I want it exemplified to the rest of the world.
Very good, very good. Now, can you tell us which Masonic organization you belong to?
Yes, so
your crowd or whatever?
I belong to the United Grand Lodge of England. I'm a Master Mason in good standing. And I'm also affiliated here with the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania, Free and Accepted Masons, through their Scottish Rite, 32nd degree, and the Holy Royal Arch, chapter number 183, with their Royal Arch chapters that they have here. So I get the best of both worlds, with the old world and the new world, because that's one of my goals as well, is to bring everybody together through those different venues as well.
Have you experienced any kind of negativity and or hate from people who really think Muslims or Masons are really, really bad?
Yeah, unfortunately, Brother Steve, just like how you have good and bad everywhere, you have good and bad in all races, religions, countries, and groups of the world. And unfortunately, in Freemasonry, you can also encounter those that operate from their lower nature. But at the same time, they're in the minority. The majority that I've came across are people that uphold the values of the fraternity. And just, like yourself and other great brothers that I've had the honor and privilege to be with. And I realize is that over time, we can start to change these hearts and minds and give them a perception that what you grew up with, what was told to you, what you saw, that's not how the world really works. We can be better than this. We can break old patterns and cycles and thinking of different negative perceptions of how to look at somebody and how to perceive them. Sit down and get to know somebody. If it's a neighbor of a different background, you extend the hand of friendship and ask them to sit down with you for a coffee, and you realize they have the same heartbreaks as you, they have the same hopes and fears as you, they cry for their children just like you do, they have happiness when they accomplish something just like you do. and we all bleed the same in the end. And that's my hope in terms of what I've been doing with my speaking engagements and publishing and writing articles and books, that I'm able to change a lot of these brothers through education and awareness. Because that is the best way that you can, that's the greatest gift that you can give somebody, is the gift of education and to show them the light. Because it's our job, is if some are wandering in darkness, if their own brothers are not going to show them the light, then who's going to do it?
You are a great example and a great ambassador.
Thank you.
And you just published a book that I just happen to have a copy of here. I hope everybody can see that. It's called The Spiritual Reflections of the Sufi Freemason, Volume 1. So evidently there's going to be a Volume 2.
Yes, that's
I
correct.
haven't read it all yet, Brother Sal, but I have read some and I'm really enjoying it. So what would you like people to know about this book? Why should
Well,
people be interested in your book?
thank you, Brother Steve, for supporting my book. And I also have your book as well, No One Walks Alone. And I encourage everyone to also get that book and to read the aspect of love and hope. And in this book, I touch on the patterns of how Masonic principles, we can apply that to our lives, to our community, and how we see it exemplified in these different religions. How you see all of these religions are teaching you the same thing. And it's basically one mountaintop, how a lot of brothers say that I've been to the mountaintop, and it's different paths that take you to that mountaintop. So you could take A road, B road, C road, D road, whatever path works for you. Do you do it at the best of your ability? Be the best that you can be at it. Because eventually we're all going to meet at the same place, which is in the abode of the grand architect of the universe, Almighty God, with love, light, abundance, and happiness for all humanity, where no such thing as fear, anxiety, hatred, or division exists. It's nothing but love.
Love. We need a lot more love in our society, brother. We need a lot more of that.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
what else would you like to tell people about who you are or what you stand for, about your faith, about masonry, about your worldview, anything? What would you like to just say to sum up who you are and what your message is to the world?
Yes. So what I would like to say, Brother Steve, is that we come from this short life. We grow up. We're taught what to believe. We're given identities, and we're put through a system which tells us how the world works and how things really happen. But then we grow up and realize that nothing in this world works the way that we think that it does. And we begin to see that those that have caused hatred and division amongst us, we let our egos get the best of us in terms of our relationships. We have a society where a man is not ready to commit to a woman's not ready to commit to a man. We're taught to be isolated from each other. We're taught to hate each other, fear each other, not know the love of having a family, having children, all of those things that make up a human society. And one of my goals is that through education and awareness is first to teach them that the concept of race, we're all one human family. The concept of religion, it's the truth has been fragmented into these different, it's all one body, but the truth has been fragmented into these different parts of the body. It's like one of the games that we used to play in elementary school where the teacher would tell you something, whisper something in the student's ear, and then it would get whispered to the other student, and
Yeah.
eventually it would, something would get added or something would get revised, and the original story would have some kind of twist to it before it eventually got back to the source, which is the teacher. So our teacher is Almighty God, as Masons, as Christians, as Muslims, as Jews, and we're just in this life together, my brother. I'm here with you today. I have no guarantee I can go to sleep and I might not wake up tomorrow. So my greatest gift is that what good did I do for myself and others with the time that I was given? It's not about who I took advantage of or who I threw under the bus and what degree did I get or what fancy house or car I have or who am I affiliated with. None of that is going to mean anything, my brother. It's about what good did you do for yourself and others for the short time that God gave you to be on this earth? And not to sell out, not to be a sellout in any way, to honor your spiritual path, honor your family, honor your God, honor your brothers. And I see that all the time where people, they might be in the bus terminal or the train terminal. Every religion will have their own table set up, and everyone's telling you that we're right, they're wrong. If you don't believe what we believe, you're going to hell. You go to the next table, they're telling you the same thing the other people are saying, the tenets of being a good person, because all of these groups are telling you to be a good person. It's a conduct of life, but nobody's teaching human unity, that everyone is correct. You follow what works for you and just live and let live. So that's one of my goals, my brother, is to have that capacity of what our Masonic Brotherhood teaches us, is to just live and let live, love and respect one another, be a good ambassador of humanity, be a good ambassador of peace, be a good ambassador of God. And what even Thomas Jefferson said at that being at the altar, that I would always oppose tyranny, that any kind of tyranny over the mind of man. And that's the kind of life that I want to pursue as well. The life of a Mason, which is justice, peace, humanity, freedom. The love I have for my family, I should have for your family. I should have for my neighbors' families, not just worry about myself. A society which only tells you to worry about yourself, not to commit to relationships or be in fear and be in a state that you're being pressured, while everything's often very simple. It's everything is simple, my brother. It's just love. Just love and be a good person. Sometimes it's man that makes things complicated because of our
Yeah.
egos and those that want us to keep us divided. That's my goal with what I'm doing, with my talking, with my doing, knowing, is that how can I teach myself and humanity to think good, know good, do good, and tell them that, is there anything that you could have done today better, that you could have done from yesterday? Is there something that you could have said to somebody better that you didn't say yesterday? So this is a path of self-improvement, not just for the body, mind, and spirit, but also for your soul, because we're trying to work our way back from our fallen state that we're in into the graces of the grand architect of the universe. So we just have to stand up for what's right always, even if it's, you have some things that might tell you, you have people that sometimes stay quiet to protect their titles or degrees or positions, but always stand for what's right, even if it costs you everything, because God will ultimately reward you. And I've been in those situations where, even though I was at the risk of losing everything, I always spoke the truth. And in return, I'm a living testimony in front of you that God will always give you everything back to you times 10. Even with King Solomon, when King Solomon was asked from God, Solomon, what do you desire? He didn't say, I want women, power, I want all this stuff. He said, God, I only desire wisdom.
More
And just
wisdom.
because of Solomon saying that, God actually gave him everything else as a bonus. So that's how it works. When you're in a state, my brother, when you don't desire nothing, you don't need nothing, you don't expect nothing, you're at peace with yourself and others. You learn how to forgive yourself before you can forgive others. You love yourself before you can love others. You accept yourself before you can accept others. That's when that's when your heart will open. And the Masonic path and all of these paths that I'm trying to get people to realize that it's all one, is to realize that God, and to find that aspect of the brotherhood, everything is in your heart. When you know thyself, you know your Lord. And when you know thy Lord, you know thyself. So it's all in your heart. You are the physical temple. Learn to forgive yourself, learn to love yourself, learn to know yourself. That's when everything else around you will get better. Because there's a Persian poet named Omar Khayyam. He said, I myself am heaven and hell. And he meant by that is that you create your own reality. God has given you your free will and all the tools that you need to be successful. But if your heart's not in the right place, then you will project a hellish outer reality. If you're
Yeah.
at peace with yourself and you accept and love yourself, then your internal temple will manifest a beautiful external reality. So that's what I tell people. Just let go of the fear, let go of the doubts, because doubt and suspicion, my brother, is a cancer for which there is no cure. We spend our whole lives doubting each other. Will this relationship work? Or the woman gets in pressure, thinking that that I don't need a man. I'm better off by myself, because society has made her that way. That we don't need a family. Families are bad. Women are bad. Men are bad. Just be by yourself in isolation. Just pay your taxes, pay your bills, be a good slave. There's more to this life than that, my brother. We didn't come here to just pay taxes, pay bills, and die. We came here to love each other and uplift each other, and to touch each other's hearts and help each other whenever we can. that's the greatest gift that we have. Everything else we leave behind.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. You have a very good message, a very good heart. And where is it we can find your book for those who want to buy it?
Yes, so on Amazon, you can search for the Spiritual Reflections of the Sufi Freemason, and that's where you'll find my book.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Sal, for being here with me. I really do appreciate it. And I will help get your message out by putting this on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. I want everybody to know your message of love and hope and faith. And thank you again for being with me, my brother. You have my love and respect.
Thank you, Brother Steve. May God's eternal love, peace, and happiness be upon you and your family and all humanity.
Thank you, brother.